Up next, Authentically Detroit sits down with Southeastern graduate and senior at Mississippi Valley State University, Terry T.J. Edwards, to discuss his journey since graduating from high school, Black men's mental health, and the effects of social media. But first, this week's hot take comes from Bridge Detroit. Detroit's moratorium on residential water shutoffs is ending. What to know? And a federal jury sides with Black Detroit officer in excessive force case. Keep it locked. Authentically Detroit starts after these messages.
Founded in 2021, the Stoudemire is a membership-based community recreation and wellness center centrally located on the east side of Detroit. Membership in the Stoudemire is available on a sliding scale for up to $20 per year or 20 hours of volunteer time. The Stoudemire offers art, dance, and fitness classes, community meetings and events, resource fairs, pop-up events, the neighborhood tech hub, and more. Members who are residents of the East Side have access to exclusive services in the Wellness Network. Join today and live well, play well, be well. Visit ecndetroit.org.
Bridge Detroit is your news and engagement platform that is telling the stories of Detroiters rooted by community priorities. Started in 2020 by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Stephen Henderson, the newsroom has already established its footing as the go-to source for hyper-local perspectives that ask the hard questions, brings accountability, and searches out real solutions. It's free to become a member of this award-winning news organization. Visit bridgedetroit.com today to sign up to receive the news delivered right to your inbox. Bridge Detroit, by Detroiters, for Detroiters.
Hey, y'all, it's Orlando. We just want to let you know that the views and opinions expressed during this podcast episode are those of the co-hosts and guests and not their sponsoring institutions. Now, let's start the show. Hello, Detroit and the world. Welcome to another episode of Authentically Detroit, broadcasting live from the WDET studios. We are a content partner to bridgedetroit.com. I'm Orlando Bailey.
And I'm Donna Givens-Davidson.
We're both here. Thank you for listening in and supporting our efforts to build a platform of authentic voices for real people in the city of Detroit. We want you to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on all platforms. Today we have TJ Edwards, founding member of the Volt Teen Center and former ECN Teen Advisory Committee leader, in the studio with us today. TJ and Donna, how is this blessed day finding y'all? Donna, how you doing?
It's Monday.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday because, we worked all weekend. So I'm a little tired. Yeah, and so it was a lot.
Take a flex day today. No flexing.
I tried to flex a little bit.
Flex zone.
I flexed from home, but I did work.
Right.
So I had meetings. But yeah, it's a little bit tiring because, we had, on Friday, we had our holiday celebration.
Yeah,
and we
shout
were
out
there.
to Leap.
Oh, shout out to Leap. We were there until 9 p.m. And the next day we were there from 10 until 5 p.m. So that was a lot.
She put the words right on my mouth. It's a Monday.
But you know what? It's so funny because I guarantee you, the idea sounds really good until it's time to implement. Like Bridge Detroit, we thought it would be a good idea to have town halls every week. Until we got into it, it was like, this is grueling.
Yeah.
That weekend sounds grueling.
Yeah, it was.
It was good, too,
It was good, but I think it was also grueling.
Yeah.
And I would do some things differently. We did a lot well. We had some wonderful guests, and I think people really enjoyed themselves and got a lot out of it. But
yeah, it was interesting who showed up and who didn't.
Well, it was. We had a wonderful morning panel. We had Letitia Johnson and Antoine Bryant from the planning department, our city councilwoman Letitia Johnson, and we had Tammy Daniels from the Detroit Land Bank Authority, and Latrice McClendon, the president of Detroit branch of Huntington Bank Detroit, as well as Sarita Scott, who's the new director of the Community Development Department at U of D Mercy.
Hey, Sarita, we got to get you on here.
But, listen, when you have a city council president who confirms twice, doesn't show, call, email, or do anything, and her name was in the program, that speaks for itself. I think you have to decide you're going to show up for a community. We had a lot of District 5 people there who were very interested in hearing from the person who is paid to represent them. So hopefully in the future, when she says she is going to come, she either comes or sends a representative. But to not show up and do anything is not a good look.
Yeah, that's sad. TJ, welcome to the studio.
What up, though?
What up? How are you? How's the day finding you?
It's finding me like down the set. It's a Monday.
It's a Monday.
Yeah, I did
What's going on? What's going on?
I
in
did a
your
lot of
life?
ripping and running today. I worked out, took the kids to school, picked them up from school, took them, where else they needed to be.
What kids are these?
My little siblings.
How old are they?
14. I dropped one off at work. She 18. She go to Clark Atlanta.
Oh wow!
My little sister. And, my other little sister. She like 8.
So big brother duties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a father out here.
Oh,
I don't got no
gosh.
kids though. But I feel like a father. The closest thing I have to kids.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you made it into the studio. TJ
Yep.
said he wanted to come on, so we made sure that.
Well, we had to have TJ on now.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago, we did a video with TJ, and he was talking, and he had both of us in tears.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to make us cry today, but
I ain't gonna make you cry.
Please.
okay, thank you. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe that.
I got you. No tears.
No, like we're already.
They were
tethered.
happy tears,
I
though.
know we're already tethered to some bit of emotion when it comes to you because we remember when you came to us, right? And just your tenacity and love for the programming that we were literally just standing up. It was all new to you, but it was also new to us.
I had this concept. We're going to take these rooms in the basement and
Yeah.
turn them into a teen center, and they were filled with boxes and papers. And I said, well, we could put boxes and papers anywhere. Where are we going to put our teens? So, it was pink walls and all of
Yeah,
that.
it looked crazy
And it looked
before.
crazy in there. And so this concept that young people from the neighborhood would come, and you showed up.
I was there.
And, the first thing that you said, I'll never forget this. You said, I'm home. You
Do you remember
referred
this?
to that as home. And I don't know if you knew what it meant to us to hear you say, I'm home, to
See, we're
claim
gonna make
the
ourselves
space
cry.
and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. We are, because you really, in many ways, made so much of what we did possible, and you helped shape the way. I think you were the author of the term chillable, and so you are embedded in everything that we do at the Vault Teen Center.
I love it. I love it.
All right. But we're going to talk about that later.
No tears. No tears.
Okay.
All right, y'all. It is time for Hot Takes, where we run down some of the week's top headlines here in the city of Detroit. For Hot Takes, Detroit's moratorium on residential water shutoffs is ending. What to know? So, the moratorium on water shutoffs for residential customers in Detroit will end at the end of this month. Detroiters who are having trouble paying their water bills must enroll in one of the city's assistance programs to avoid a water shutoff next year. The state in March of 2020 required utilities to restore water services and not conduct shutoffs for non-payment during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Over the summer, the Detroit Water and Sewage Department launched a payment plan based on incoming usage to help people reduce their bills. That program, which began in August, is currently funded for just 18 months. There are 60,000 residential accounts out of 220,000 total residential customers that are in delinquent status. The Water Department said, and the average balance they owe is $700. Eligible Detroiters can apply for DWSD's Lifeline Plan, which offers fixed monthly rates between $18 and $56 based on income and water use. You would remember that Donna and I talked about that program at length on this program. Also, to avoid a shutoff, DWSD says residents who don't qualify for the Lifeline program can pay their past due balance or enroll in a 1030-50, that's October 30th, 2050 payment plan, where customers can make a down payment and pay off their delinquent balance in installments.
I think the 1030-50.
I know I was being facetious.
It would, if it was October 30th, 2050, that would have been a good payment plan,
That would have
right?
been a great
Be like
payment plan.
$1 a year.
I was being facetious.
I know, but
Go
see,
ahead.
the
What say
problem
you, Donna
is,
Givens Davidson?
Okay, if I can't afford my water bill, you're going to give me a plan that allows me to pay my water bill plus 10% of my past due bill. So if I already can't afford it, now you're going to add another charge. And if I don't meet that requirement, then you're going to add 30% of my overdue bill. And if not, 50%. Is that logical? Every time we have low-income people in Detroit who can't afford taxes or can't afford water, we give them these payment plans. We don't stop future bills. We just say, okay, you can pay it and spread it out over time while also paying your other bill. And if you incur a future, non-payment period, then you're subject to have everything cut off. I think that we have to get serious about water affordability, and this isn't it. It's this rush to get people signed up for the program. We've been open up every Monday since September, trying to sign as many people up as possible. You know, a lot of people don't read their bills. A lot of people don't read their mail. Don't know how to read. And so there's going to be people who don't sign up by December 31st, and probably some of the most vulnerable people out there don't sign up. And we have these artificial deadlines that make no sense. There's a winners and losers game, and I think in Detroit we should have a system where we're all winners. And we understand that people are not going to be able to afford water 2 years from now after this program runs out any more than they can afford water now if they have very low incomes. The other thing is that the city has these arbitrary data. They say, okay, well, if you use more than a certain amount of water, then you no longer can get water at this affordable rate. Then you have to pay a different kind of rate.
A different rate.
Well, you know, you could have
different
a family,
tier.
And you know, some of our families are doubled up and tripled up inside of a household.
Facts. You hear all them
have some
siblings
really
TJ got?
large, yes, you have
I got
some really,
13.
and you know what? If they're using showers, if they're doing whatever, they're not going to fit within the $18 a month. It needs to be flexible in terms of family size. And then the final thing I'm going to say about this is that you don't know what people can afford. This idea, people are living in housing they can't afford. They're paying car insurance they can't afford. So you can look at $50,000 and you can say, oh, they can afford water bill, because you're not looking at all of their other bills. But it's expensive to live in Detroit. And what this will do is make it so that some Detroiters cannot afford to live here. And then come census time in 2030, they're going to be like, where did all the people go?
Challenging the numbers and everything like that. You want to know the other thing that is interesting to me is that this data point, right now there are 60,000 residential accounts out of 220,000 total residential customers that are in delinquent status on their water bills. If they can pull that kind of data and ascertain that there are 60,000 accounts, I'm trying to understand why those 60,000 accounts have to voluntarily go and sign up for anything, right? Why are we obsessed with this opt-in option for poor people in the city of Detroit as if they aren't already burdened enough with so many things to do? Now we have to think about how we can get enrolled in the payment plan. If you see that I'm delinquent, just like if you see that I've been a part of the HOPE program for the last 5 years, my income hasn't changed, I got to re-enroll every single year. This makes no sense to me. There has to be a better way to do this. There has to be a better way to get folks help. And here's what I say to this, because Donna Givens Davison and myself were on this program in February 2020, mad, right, that the governor rescinded a council resolution to declare water shutoffs a public health hazard. And then COVID happened. And then what we saw was that government has the ability to do whatever they need to do to help people when there is an incentive to help people. And now the incentive has passed.
Well,
are we out of the pandemic?
We have so many things going around right now. But the thing is that if poor people were the ones who were suffering and they did not pose a risk to you and me, then we would let them suffer. When there was a risk of them spreading a disease to you and me, now we got to get them cleaned up. And I think that that kind of mindset, the deserving poor mindset, this idea that people have to earn certain rights to live comfortably in America is it's what's wrong. And I think that having leadership in this city that doesn't look at the hardship that so many people are under, that doesn't look at the fact that people are living in houses with roofs that are messed up, with porches that are messed up, and windows that are messed up, because people are really struggling to survive.
Yeah.
And you know, poverty is hard work. You got to walk
Poverty's
places.
expensive. It's
Expensive. It's hard work. You're working twice as hard as people who have the resources to get help. People who have cars that work all of the time that can take them places. I was talking to somebody and they were talking about what they had to do in order to drive their car, and they had old batteries and they had to charge their batteries halfway through. It was some craziness. I was like, that is a lot of work. But people live like this every single day.
People who go to the gas station every day because they don't know where the next dollar is coming from to fill up their gas tank. You know, it really is disheartening. And the other thing, the final thing that I would say, to use Donna's words, the final thing that I will say about this is that there are also people who would be considered not not in poverty, but middle income. Think about your average nonprofit practitioner here in the city of Detroit making $40,000 to $50,000 a year with a kid or two. Them being able to afford water is also pie in the sky. We really, so when we're talking about water affordability, yes, we have to take care of our poor folks, but the people we think are doing well are also stretched. Yeah, they have a professional job title, but they're where they are financially and where these water rates are, it doesn't make sense for them either. We got to figure out a way to remedy that.
When Stellantis then FCA, now Stellantis decided it wanted to expand. The city found a way to give Stellantis 105 acres of land. The city found a way to tear down all of these, the berms on St. Jean. The city found a way to do all kinds of things, and then to allow them tax breaks all over the place. The city finds a way when it's a priority. So we just have to accept the fact that poor people are a priority. And the interesting thing about that, not going too far afield, is we did it because of jobs. Now, I don't know if you saw that Stellantis is going to idle a Jeep plant in Illinois. And when they idle that Jeep plant in Illinois, those workers have the option of knocking every single Detroiter who got a job out of their job if they were hired before them. And so we don't even have job guarantees that you get this job and keep it for a while. We don't know who is paying college debt. We don't know who has a garnishment on their record. We don't know who is going to the payday loan center just to make bills meet. We don't know how much access people have even to the funds they bring in. Yeah. But we do know is that we have a city of people with bad credit scores for many reasons, who don't have access to the kind of consumer credit that many other people do, who don't have enough wealth
Come to One Detroit Credit Union.
Well, yes, I go to One Detroit Credit Union. But I mean, you have a lot of people who don't have access to resources, and water should never be treated like a commodity. Water is a precious resource, and we have a right to water.
Some people can't even afford to go to a job.
To get to the work. Hi. TJ, don't preach.
Hey, TJ, I have my question. Have you ever known anybody who had their water shut off?
Yes.
Talk about it for a minute.
Well, when I was younger, sorry, Auntie, but yeah, when I was younger, my auntie, all of us stayed with her for a little while. My grandma was sick and everything, but we didn't have any water. So, and we had to go to the neighbors. Good thing the neighbors were actually like cool, collected people. Where they'll let us, we literally be carrying pots, like big pots of water.
My God.
Down the street to the house to fill up the tub. And like two of us had to be using the same bath water just to wash up and everything. But,
it's a real thing.
You really appreciate this type of stuff because it makes you want to be better than what where you came from and everything. That's why I'm trying to tell my little brother and my little sister not because, they spoil you. They think everything is given to them, which is not because we had it way worse than they had it.
Wow.
They run a water bill up. They don't care about none of that stuff. But us, okay, we had to it got so serious, we couldn't even boil the water. We usually boil the water so it could be hot and then pour it in the tub. It was straight warm water in the tub or straight cold water. Whatever we got from the neighbor, in pots, it literally be like a factory line of us going to the houses and coming back to the houses.
You were taking cold baths then?
Yeah.
Why couldn't you boil the water?
Because we didn't have any gas. We didn't have any gas. It wasn't no gas in the house. All right. It wasn't no heat.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's important that people hear that, though.
Hear that, yes.
Because a lot of times people don't understand what it means.
What it's
One time I had my water shut off because there was a water main break. I thought that it was shut off for non-payment of a bill because I was a little bit late, but it was a water main break. And we had the East Side Extravaganza that night. And I'm sitting here in the house. There's no water. And I have dogs. I can't give the dogs water. I was so worried. I was trying to couldn't wash my face. There was no water coming out of there. And it made me feel so incredibly powerless and then you're ashamed and then you're humiliated. And so when you think through the impact on people, and we talk about a mental health crisis, and we're worried about a mental health crisis, and we're going to talk about that later. But stress like this contributes to mental health crisis. This is the easy thing for physical health. Physical health. This is the easy thing to do. People can decide that they're going to fund water in our society differently, and then put some rules around uses so that we don't have luxury uses of water while people cannot afford to bathe and stuff like that. That's really unfortunate.
We literally couldn't even go to school some days because our clothes couldn't get washed.
My God.
And they didn't want to send us to school with dirty clothes. And you get talked about.
Yeah.
So it makes it even worse. So we had to stay home. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The water. I don't know what's worse, not
I
having
hope
water
y'all
or gas.
listening. I hope
It's
y'all
all
are
terrible,
listening.
though,
It's
right?
all
Yeah.
terrible.
And you don't realize how bad it is until you don't have it.
Until you don't have it, how much of a necessity it is.
Literally.
Wow, listen,
Thanks for sharing that.
We have more with TJ, and we got one more hot take that we're going to squeeze in when we come back. Federal jury sides with Black Detroit officer in excessive force case. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Have you always dreamed of being on the airwaves? Well, the Detroit Eastside Engaged Podcast Network, or DEEP for short, is here to make that dream a reality. Located inside the Stoudemire, the DEEP Network offers studio space and production staff to help get your podcast idea off the ground. Doesn't take a whole lot of work to get started. Just visit the Authentically Detroit page at ecn-detroit.org or call Sarah at 313-948-0344.
Bridge Detroit is your news and engagement platform that is telling the stories of Detroiters rooted by community priorities. Started in 2020 by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Stephen Henderson, the newsroom has already established its footing as the go-to source for hyperlocal perspectives that ask the hard questions, brings accountability, and searches out real solutions. It's free to become a member of this award-winning news organization. Visit bridgedetroit.com today to sign up to receive the news delivered right to your inbox. Bridge Detroit, by Detroiters, for Detroiters.
Right.
Oh, really?
All right, y'all. We are back on Authentically Detroit. We got TJ Edwards here in the studio with us, Southeastern High School grad, soon to be Mississippi Valley graduate,
Yes.
football star, native Detroiter TJ Edwards. Listen, for hot takes, federal jury sides with Black Detroit officer in excessive force case. A federal jury has sided with a Black Detroit police sergeant in a lawsuit alleging fellow officers within the department used excessive force and retaliated against him for complaining about race discrimination during an off-duty encounter in 2017. His name is Johnny Strickland, and he's an 11-year-old veteran of the department at the time, and he was handcuffed, harassed, and humiliated by DPD colleagues when he accidentally arrived at an unmarked, unsecured crime scene and was later suspended after he filed a complaint, the ACLU of Michigan said in a news release. The jury rendered its verdict Monday and awarded Strickland $150,000 in a lawsuit against the city of Detroit. The aim of the suit, the ACLU notes, was to expose and reform racist policing practices to ensure the safety of the community, including for police officers of color. Internal studies conducted by DPD since 2017 have revealed racial tensions within the ranks of officers, as well as racial misconduct by officers directed at members of the community. The ACLU said that it proposed reforms during the pendency of Strickland's case, but contends that the city's police department refused to consider them. Donna, what say you?
Well, there are two other things that are really significant. He told his captain about it, and his captain told him, this goes no further. When he complained, Internal Affairs investigated him and not the police officers who did that to him, and that speaks to a systemic problem, not rogue police officers, but police officers who are doing this within a system that will protect them from the consequences of their actions, even against other police officers. And I think many people remember cases where Black police officers have been killed by white police officers. Friendly fire, oops, we didn't know you were a police officer. Had we known, we wouldn't have killed you, which is kind of beside the point. You're not supposed to kill people as a police officer unless you are actually protecting your life or protecting the life of somebody else. And that is not like, oh, you look scary to me. I think I heard that TJ was racially profiled today. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, he fits the profile of somebody that society has said, how tall are you?
6'6".
6'6", 270 pounds. He's a football player,
He's 260 pounds.
And if you look at him, 260, if you look at him, and this is the thing that always gets me about it, TJ has the nicest face on earth, right? It's like,
he's harmless.
He does.
A gentle giant.
Kevin and I were going to Canada, and they searched our car looking for stuff, and I was like, have you looked at this man? He said, well, they think I'm Nigerian. I said, well, look at you. People look at pictures of him and say,
love Kevin.
He's so nice. I can tell he's nice looking at the pictures. Some people just look nice. Like TJ would make a great criminal because nobody would ever think he was mean. He's always had that friendly smile. And so I think the issue is them seeing TJ, but not seeing him, not seeing your humanity. It is looking at you as something as opposed to someone that really makes me angry. And when they saw that Black man, they looked at him as something and not someone. It also goes to something else. If you are a police officer, I believe some police officers really do think of real legitimate police officers as white men. Mm-hmm. Black men will never really be fully incorporated into the rank and file of policing for some police officers. Same thing with women. And so I think it really speaks to the marginalization of black men within police departments. And the scary thing is some of those same black men will turn around and marginalize other black men who are not part of the police. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed this story simply because he exposed them. And you'd have too few black police officers who are willing to go on the record and say this happened and not get intimidated by their bosses.
No, when you bleed blue, that code is something that you do not, you don't intersect. You don't cross.
It's like crossing in college.
And it really is something. And I had this realization. I have a very close, my brother is a police officer, and I messed around and ended up having one kind of conversation with him when I was, sort of critiquing the actions of the police department. Mm-hmm. And I don't care how you put it. I don't care how you intellectualize your argument. They ain't hearing it because they bleed blue. It's this code that is very, very tough to crack. And this officer decided to cross that code and say something. And once again, the city, right, deservingly so for this officer, is paying out $150,000. We had a story last week. We were talking about just the sheer amount of money that we have to set aside in our fiscal budget every year as a city to pay for cases like these. Fix it.
You know who else?
Fix it.
Do you know who else has a thin blue line?
Who?
Crips.
Yeah.
Okay. You cannot tell me that you are not a gang and you have a thin blue line and you stick together no matter what, and you can assault people together, and then if somebody tries to defend themselves, you can retaliate. That is a gang. That's gang behavior.
Yeah. It's a real thing.
And when we talk about policing, don't talk to me about training individual officers and sensitivity training. You have to do something to break up that gang. You have to do something to break up that power structure. It's replicated in every single police department in the United States practically. It's not a Detroit thing versus a Chicago thing versus a New York thing. This is how policing functions in our society, because there's no accountability really, and because there's no transparency really, and because people are always going to give police officers who kill, beat, and maim the benefit of the doubt. Almost always.
Well, sometimes to me it feels like, I know that it is modeled after militarism, right? We have commanders and we have officers and we have captains, language that the military uses, but also a culture that the military has. And I take orders, and whomever is giving me that order, already because of his rank and because of his file or her file, they're right. They're always right. And I think that's problematic when we're talking about the military doesn't protect our cities and our citizens, not at a community level. So I think it's a miss. I think it's a mismatch.
You know what I really think? I would love for us to sit down with some police reformers. We got to get Alea on here and some other folks and really get into what's going on with that culture and what's going on with reform. And I want some young men who have been impacted by that, who have, fought against police brutality, because I know a couple, to actually show up also, because I think we're not hearing their stories. We always hear the police officer's point of view. And when a lot of folks tell their story, my hairdresser's son was beaten by police, and the only reason they were accountable is because the gas station owner had cameras, and the cameras showed exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And so he sued, got a little money.
I mean, it was crazy at one point for me when I was younger and starting out. Donnie, you heard this story. I was getting pulled over left and right because of the kind of car that I had or whatever.
Another really threatening kind of guy.
Really, really threatening. My Bible in the back seat and everything. And, I remember one day I was leaving ECN to go to lunch, to grab lunch and come right back because we had a blight meeting. And I got pulled over once again, and I called Maggie DeSantis, and I said, Maggie, I got pulled over. They might take me in because they had really been messing with me. And Maggie got so mad. She was like, I'm on my way. I'm like, you and your little green card, what are you going to do? But it really is a thing for especially young black men who are coming of age driving in the city. I remember the talk that my parents had with me when they bought me my first car. My first car was a black Monte Carlo Super Sport. So it sat really low and it was a sporty car. It was a nice car my parents purchased for me. And we were living in East English Village at the time. And so East English Village sits on the border of Grosse Pointe. So when I go to leave to go somewhere on Mack Avenue, Grosse Pointe Police is right there. I cannot tell you how many times I got pulled over by Grosse Pointe Police. And each time I did and I told my mother about it, she was thankful that I was still alive. This is a problem.
Absolutely is. And like I said, we really need to air out this story because there's so much more.
All right. Moving on, we have a very special guest in the studio with us today. But before we talk to our special guest, we want to let you know that if you have topics that you want discussed on Authentically Detroit, you can hit us up on our socials at Authentically Detroit on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or you can email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com. TJ Edwards was one of the very first kids to join the vault at ECN, and he eventually became a leader on the Teen Advisory Council. He is a graduate of Southeastern High School and a senior at Mississippi Valley State University, where he is also a member of the football team. Once again, TJ, welcome to the podcast.
And I have a question for you because I want to know, you were the first person. You didn't even get there. We had this youth event that started at 9. TJ was there at something like 7:30. He beat the staff there. And so I really want to know, what took you to our offices at 7:30 in the morning?
I was so confused, literally. I was outside the gate, and then the gate wasn't open, so I was just sitting there looking crazy, like.
But why did you come?
I came because I didn't have anything else to do. You know, it's not a lot to do except get in trouble. So getting in trouble was easy, but getting out of it is hard. But so it was like something positive that I can do. I didn't really feel like going home. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this then. And I came.
Yeah, I always felt like you had a vision for your life. Even as a teenager, you had some sense of wanting something different for your life.
Yeah, really just not wanting to do the wrong things. So I didn't know where I was going. I just know where I didn't want to go.
TJ, if someone were to ask you this question, how would you answer it? And I'm getting ready to ask you this question. What is your story?
My story is not finished.
What's the prelude, the introductory chapter?
The introductory chapter of TJ's story. TJ's story is, how far you want to go back?
No, wherever your heart leads you.
Well, TJ's story. My mom went to prison when I was 2 years old. So my pops really raised us, but he was in and out the system, whatever. So we was with our aunties and uncles and everybody else but him. So. But he actually raised me. He a good man. Don't get me wrong. He a good father and all that. But he ended up going to prison my 10th grade year. So that's really what it was. Because that's when I joined the vault, my 10th grade year.
Wow.
And that's actually when I started playing football too. Because it was a lot of stuff.
So you needed an outlet.
Yeah, it was really something, to get out. And it was just a lot going on at the crib. I wasn't trying to be around that and everything. Because I'm a person of good energy. So I don't like my energy being corrupted by everybody else's energy. So it was that's really what it was. And then I got little siblings. I got a lot of little siblings. I only got 4 older siblings. So everybody else under me, and like I said, it's 13 children. So I wanted to be a leader for them. I really didn't have no plans of going to college. Like I probably wouldn't have been in college if I would have never came to the vault. Cause that's not where cause I'm the first person to go to college in my family. So it's not like everybody else like, oh yeah, you need to do this, graduate and go to college. It was just literally graduate high school. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do that. But then I started coming to the vault, and then I ended up. I'm a senior in Mississippi Valley State University. So,
and now you have a little sister who came after you, who is a student where again?
Clark Atlanta.
At Clark Atlanta University.
Yeah, I kind of forced her to go to HBCU. It was like she was trying to go to Eastern Michigan, and I was like, nah, you need to go home. You need to go far.
I would say this: you're not only a person with good energy, you are a person with infectious energy.
Yes.
You're the way that you show up and the big presence that you have, even when you aren't saying anything, it reverberates. It's felt. Do you know that about yourself?
No, you're the first person to say it.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Tanya said he's going far. She mentioned, she said he's going far. We always knew it. Of course, when you were young, you weren't like you are now, though.
Yeah,
you were like a little kid.
Yeah,
he was
always dancing.
Always dancing. Always. He was like, you know what? Seriously, I watched you mature, and that was like a beautiful thing, because you were like always one of these kids who was like, see me, see me, see me.
Yeah.
You didn't really like to share the microphone too much. Is that true?
Yeah, it was. I guess
He
it
had
was
11 siblings. He needed
Exactly.
He needed,
That's what I'm
he needed a
saying.
stage.
That's what I'm saying. And so when
He
he
needed a
came,
stage.
but what I saw happen was you really become more self-possessed and more mature. And so that was exciting watching you grow up. What did you get out of the vault?
What I got out of the vault is crazy. Like I said, I probably wouldn't have been in college. I probably would have been home and doing the same thing everybody else doing. So the vault really pushed me to be better than what I came before. So I thought just graduating high school was gonna be enough, but going to the vault every day, being around Tanya, and actually I really appreciate Tanya because like literally she probably the first white person to ever make me not be racist. Like I was never racist, but it's like liking white people. She the first person to ever made me feel like white people was like good people. You know what I'm saying? Because I, especially dealing with a lot of racist people in my life, you know what I'm saying? Tanya was really like one of those people that was like, all right, all white people not bad people.
Was she a white woman named Tanya?
Yeah. Yeah, so then that was one thing. So I felt more comfortable being around, being around the office. We was never like forced to do this, forced to do that. It was like it was a home, So it was something that I actually looked forward to doing after school. After practice, I was there. Even though we came late after practice, we were still there. And it was like, I even tried to get most of my teammates to come, and they weren't really rocking with it. It was like, no, let's do this. And I still duck off and go to the vault. You know what I'm saying? Going over that bridge and everything.
It wasn't really just the vault. I mean, y'all had y'all space downstairs, but y'all occupied every space.
Exactly.
And
that's
were everywhere.
The new vault team members, they were nothing like you all, okay? Because we knew you.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody knew you. You made a point of making everybody your friend in the entire office. That's what Orlando means about. But not just you, but it was all of you.
Yeah.
We loved all of you, and we knew all of you. I remember that
Diamond,
Christmas,
Destiny,
Kareem,
everybody,
Stefan. Remember,
literally,
we had that Christmas downstairs, and I'll never forget that first Christmas.
I was crying.
Where we all had a Christmas gift list, and so we were gonna buy something.
Yeah.
All the staff were gonna buy something for the young people, and Angela bought. Was it Kareem? Everything on the list.
The beats.
No, we
She bought him
but
everything.
It was everybody did that.
Nobody did what Angela did. Angela had like 15 gifts. I was like, is this a competition, Angela? I don't understand what happened. I know we're gonna buy every gift on the list. We overdone. Everybody got a lot of stuff because I think everybody got the shoes.
Yeah. We were trying to make sure y'all got everything.
But wasn't it Kareem who got everything?
Yeah.
He got everything. That was so funny. He was in so much shock. Like, wait a minute, what's happening here? But that was such a wonderful Christmas. And I kind of miss those days. And I'm trying to figure out how to get them back because it meant a lot to all of the adults working there to know you and to connect with you. And I think it's the kind of mentorship that moves on in life. When Orlando was a teenager, it was the same kind of thing.
Man, I can't. You and I are very different but similar in so many ways. The similarity is that we were and are both children of Eastside Community Network. And the way that you give credit to the programming at ECN, to your success currently and where you're going, it literally is the same thing for me. I walked into the doors at 11 years old and I never left. I'm 33 years old. I never left.
Yeah. And we hope you come back. I know you have big dreams, but Tanya told me, Tanya said, he's not sure what he's going to do when he comes back and he might be looking for a job. So I just want you to know, if you ever come back and you are looking for a job, you have one at ECN.
Donna be ready.
I'll be there.
Donna be ready. We remember we ran into you. Donna ran into you and Kareem at the restaurant. Donna was trying to hire Kareem right then and there.
Play it forward. You have to play it forward.
That's
you
right.
have this tendency when you've gone through things and you've gone through certain types of programs, you know what is needed. And so you did that in the Vault Teen Center. And now in college, you are, when we come back, we need to talk about your mental health journey and what you're doing around mental health, because it seems to me you're still engaged in service activities.
Yep. More with TJ Edwards when we come back. Keep it locked.
Have you always dreamed of being on the airwaves? Well, the Detroit Eastside Engaged Podcast Network, or DEEP for short, is here to make that dream a reality. Located inside the Stoudemire, the DEEP Network offers studio space and production staff to help get your podcast idea off the ground. Doesn't take a whole lot of work to get started. Just visit the Authentically Detroit page at ecn-detroit.org or call Sarah at 313-948-0344.
Founded in 2021, the Stoudemire is a membership-based community recreation and wellness center centrally located on the east side of Detroit. Membership in the Stoudemire is available on a sliding scale for up to $20 per year or 20 hours of volunteer time. The Stoudemire offers art, dance, and fitness classes, community meetings and events, resource fairs, pop-up events, the Neighborhood Tech Hub, and more. Members who are residents of the East Side have access to exclusive services in the Wellness Network. Join today and live well, play well, be well. Visit
His own youth group he's formed organizations.
We are having a great time in this studio catching up with TJ. Donna, you were going to ask a question about college and mental health.
Yes. So TJ, you are focused right now on mental health, and I want to know what got you connected to that and what you're doing.
It was really a thing of coming in to college, which I didn't have no experience of, and I was in Mississippi. It's not like the city whatsoever. It's literally like the definition of country. So I had to get adjusted to that. And it was really like being away from my people, being away from the vault, being away from, everybody I'm used to hanging around and trying to see new things. And playing football on a Division I level, I ended up tearing my labrum my freshman year. So that really was the thing. I had to sit out. I couldn't do no activities. I had to, it was like I was in my room. I couldn't go to no workouts, couldn't do nothing but just go to the doctor and go to therapy. And it was like, all right, this is not what I came here for, And then COVID really like just crushed the whole college experience because they, they kicked us out. Well, they didn't kick us out. They sent us home for spring break, and then it was like, all right, come back the next week, and then come back the next week, and then like don't come back at all. We was like, hold on, like we got a season in the fall. What we doing?
No, you don't.
We ain't had no spring ball, no nothing. Like so, it was like, all right, they end up canceling the fall season and told us come back the next spring. So I got so used to being at home, I was like, I didn't work out, I did nothing. I was discouraged. I didn't even play my freshman season. I had a red shirt. So coming back in the spring, I was out of shape, everything, and I tore my ACL. And that's like one of the worst injuries you can ever have. Like as an athlete, it's an ACL injury. Like that's literally, I don't wish that on nobody. I wish that on no enemy at all, because it's like sitting out for 6 months and not even just sitting out. The pain is unbearable. Like actually being able to learn how to walk again.
You have to walk.
Yes, and it's crazy. You can't bend your leg. You can't do it. It's a lot of stuff you can't do. You walk with a limp for a long time. You don't even realize it. You run with a limp. So getting back from all that, I'm trying to come back from, all right, I already had an injury my freshman year. This is my second injury. All right, now I'm going to play some ball now. So having to go through the whole summer, doing therapy and everything, coming back to school, I had 2 more months I had to sit out. So I had to sit out half the season. When I was ready to come back, they weren't trying to let me come back. They like, we don't want to rush the injury and everything. Whoop. So it's another season that I just had to sit out. And we had a season in that spring. So I set out that spring season and the fall season next to it. So it was like, all right, what am I doing here? Like, because really, I was there for football more than I was for my my major and everything, because that's really what I was focused on, football. But you can't do one without the other. So I was actually, it was like, all right, I'm going to stay home, because obviously I felt like it was God telling me that that's not where you're supposed to be like right now. You're supposed to be at home, or you're supposed to be doing something else. This not your calling. And I was like, all right, but he going to tell me that through injuries though? Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? So coming back the next spring, I didn't even know if I could come back to school for real. Like, I was really going to stay at home and just take care of my people and everything, because there's a lot going, it's always something going on at home. So I never used that excuse to, like, what I'm saying, 'cause everybody got their own thing going at home. I don't really, so I ain't never want to be like, oh, there's stuff going on at home, I'm going to stay there, because everybody got stuff going on. I ain't want to use that excuse. So I came back to school and everything, and it was really, again, like, even Tanya, I've been in college for 4 years. She sent me, like, every holiday or every birthday, she sent a little box with candy and chips. But she don't know I don't eat candy, but I haven't told her. Like, I don't eat candy at all. So all the candy I just get to my roommates or something like that. But it's always the candy and then like a bear and a little note. And I keep all, I got all the notes in the staple. So that really was like one thing. She like, you pushing me to keep going and everything. So I appreciated that for sure and everything.
But you were discouraged.
Yeah, I was discouraged. I didn't think that this was what I was supposed to be doing.
How did you overcome it? How did you overcome that discouragement to stay and to play?
Really, it was just listening to all my coaches and everything. Because
what were they saying to you?
The typical God give his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers. But I didn't agree to be the toughest soldier. I didn't think I would.
I didn't sign up for this guy.
I didn't really, but it was really my head coach, Coach Dancy. I love him to death, because he actually kept, you keep getting injuries, you're not even going to be a part of a team no more. So he kept me there. He kept telling me to come back and make sure I stay on top of this and that. He was like, this your home, I got you. Make sure you have your season and everything. And he actually just went to Colorado with Deion Sanders, Coach Prime and everything.
You see, I was going to ask you what you think about Coach Prime, but we're going to save that.
He said he ain't going in the lottery, in the portal.
I want to save that question, but let's talk about, because you still are graduating on time, though.
Yeah, I graduate in the spring.
So despite all of this, despite the mental health and the depression maybe and the anxiety or whatever it is that you were feeling, how did you stay on track with your classes?
I got little siblings, so that's really literally what it is. And it's like, all right, if I start doing this, I never want to be a bad example for nobody. So even my older siblings, my brother, he just had to turn himself in. He the one telling me, oh yeah, make sure you go work out, make sure you do this. If he didn't even do what he telling me to do, I know I gotta, and I'm doing literally what I want my little siblings to do. I can't stop doing that. You know what I'm saying?
So it's love.
Yeah, I got to do it for them because they don't got no father, just like I don't got no father. So I can't be like, I don't got no dad, I can't do this. You know what I'm saying? They don't either.
But you know how amazing that is, that what kept you going was, I want to be there for my younger siblings so they can see me. I want to tell you that that personally happened to me. That resonates with me on such a big level. I'm not going to talk about it now, but I felt that in a personal way, because I remember there was a point in my life where I was feeling like I have to do this for my little sister so she can see I succeed at this and she can know it can be done. And to hear you say that really means a lot to me, because you're so far away. Your siblings are so much younger than you.
Literally, it's crazy. My pop's a Rolling Stone, but it's really me being there. I'm always 1,000 miles away from them when I'm at school. So me trying to balance being there and being here. I know being here, I can't help them more than I can being there. So why would I be here, with them when I could be showing them what they could be, working towards, especially because my siblings getting older, and then it's me not even trying to step in being a father figure, but I am a father figure to most of my siblings because they don't have a dad.
So the mental health, though, because I think a lot of us see that in our community and we see these things happening, but we never ascribe it to mental health. We say, oh, I'm upset or I'm pissed or I'm whatever it is, but it's never mental health. Tell me how you make the connection between feeling that way and mental health.
To be honest, I think, everything is mental. It's a lot of stuff that's not physical at all. It's a lot of stuff that I went through, including the surgery and everything. I had to literally just talk to myself and talk to God. It was like, all right, I know I'm feeling this type of way. I just got to stay focused and stay on all 10, because it's people who don't even wake up the next day. So me trying to heal my mental and still trying to do other things in life, you know what I'm saying, that involve me graduating, me getting a job, because being a broke college student is not fun at all, So
trouble don't last always. Trust
me. So that's what I stick to too, because it's like mental. I heal my mental health with even talking to other people about theirs. You know what I'm saying? I like people to tell me their story and tell me how they feel and to tell me, everything that goes on with them. So that really helps me, because all right, I'm not the only one going through stuff. I'm not the only one feeling this type of way. You know what I'm saying? Especially dealing with people who actually be.
So you create your own support groups. Yeah.
Yeah, I literally tell everybody they can talk to me. Everybody feels like they can talk to me. Even all my teammates, especially the freshmen that come in, I take them under my wing, make sure some stuff gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I got you, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I have a question for you, and I can't imagine growing up now, especially in the age of social media. It came when I was an adult. It really crystallized.
Yeah.
How is it now with the pressures of social media and everyone just sort of comparing themselves to each other, and and mental health? How do you use social media, and do your support groups have that conversation as well, taking a pause?
Yeah, sometimes you got to leave social media alone, because even going towards dealing with females, they want this because they see that, what I'm saying, everybody getting it on social media. I can't afford no Birkin. And if that's what you know what I'm saying, that's not even what you want for real. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you want because you see it look nice. Okay, I want that. You know what I'm saying? And that's really the struggle when dealing with somebody who's highly active on social media. I don't even personally, I'm not no discriminant, you know what I'm saying? But I don't like females I deal with to even be active on social media. And that's not oh, you can't do this. I'm not controlling it at all. But it's I don't want that to be on your brainwave. You know what I'm saying? I'm more of a
real life.
Yeah, I'm a real life person. I know I can't. All right, this is my life. Everybody got their own life. Just because you see somebody else doing stuff in their life, You are a totally different person. God put you in a totally different place than they did them. You know what I'm saying? Choose your own path and then do what you're gonna do with that. But please don't try to take everything that you see and pull it into your life. Like, it's not your life. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, people do make first of all, I mean, a lot of people really struggle with self-worth.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think you have worth, then you acquire things of worth to make you feel more valuable, right? And so a lot of people struggle with that. I think, the other thing is that people don't put their issue. Either people do one of two things. Either they tell all of their problems, and you're like, girl, stop telling me your problems. Dude, quit telling me your problems with women, okay? You scared all the women away. Or they put on the show. And it's one extreme for another sometimes, where people are either trying to get therapy through social media, and that's the wrong venue.
It's literally the wrong venue.
Or people are just busy trying to impress people to make themselves feel good about themselves through social media.
Yeah, but it's like it's a lot of stuff that you don't want. Sometimes people just want love, and they don't know how to find that, so they put it on social media, and it be taking a whole
Or
different way.
they don't know how to ask for it.
Yeah.
How do you ask for love? How do you ask to be loved on? You,
with who?
TJ, the person,
with
from
who?
the people that you love. You want the people you love to love you back, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just ask for it though, but it's always expected. I expect it because I'm a loving person. I'm a caring person. So if I care for you, I would expect you to care for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'll be appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
You want to know what's fascinating about you, TJ Edwards, is that there are so many young people who are and were in the same predicament that you were in. Two incarcerated parents, living in a home with utilities on and off. Nobody set a precedent for higher education, and people use that as an excuse to stay, where they are, or not as an excuse. It really is valid reason for them to show up in the world however they show up in the world, without any exposure or goals to go even higher. But
they just
you
settle.
Use that as an impetus to propel yourself forward. Let me ask you this question. What do you say to a young TJ, right, who's going through the same things that you went through, the same kind of family structure, the same kind of instability, struggling with their present, so much so that they can't even envision the future? What's your advice to that person?
It don't cost to be yourself. That's free. And there's a lot of things that's not free in this world. Breathing not even free. But it don't cost to be yourself. If you yourself, you always gonna. If you yourself and you always have a good spirit, a good life gonna find you.
So there's also young people who have walked your path in high school and who didn't go to college and who are not necessarily, some of those people, right? And they're not necessarily living up to their dreams. But dreams are always possible, even if you don't pursue them at 18. What do you say to those people?
Yeah.
Dreams possible. Sometimes you gotta wake up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can dream and keep dreaming, but if you wake up and actually go towards that dream, you will actually live that life. And it probably won't happen overnight at all. Like, it literally won't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you would hope it would, like you think it would because you're dreaming it, but it don't. But if you keep working towards it, it's gonna come to you for sure.
So tell me about Coach Prime.
I actually respect him as a coach, especially because I'm probably kind of biased because that was like my favorite DB in the NFL. So it's like I'm kind of a fan, but I'm not a fan at all because we play them. We played them, Jackson State. So I respect him. I don't think that he's wrong for leaving Jackson State and going to Colorado. Some people look at it as he leaving us, as in black people, and going to. But I would listen to what he was saying on one of his interviews. He was like, "It's not the location, it's the destination." And I really took that as like it's where I'm at, like in life. It's not where you at, it's where you trying to be.
You know what I thought about when I looked at it? I said, he went there and he said, I'm going to change the system. I'm going to recruit people. I'm going to put money in here, and I'm going to help make Jackson State be all it can be. There's nothing to stop other people like Deion Sanders doing the exact same thing. Yeah. And if you do that and you follow that path and you find your way into a Division I school, God bless you. Right. Because there's a pathway in my life. I've started jobs, I've left jobs, started jobs, left jobs, and it's always been about me, whatever's going on inside of me. And it didn't mean that when I was there, I was not committed to what I was doing. It was just time to move on. Yeah. Do you think that because he said that God sent him there, that he had an obligation to stay there for the rest of his life, or at least for 10 years or so.
Yeah, I felt like before the Colorado offer came, he probably felt like he had to stay there and keep building. But he actually did some wonderful things for Jackson State. Like even for like the whole in our SWAC conference, like he did a lot of things. He brought a lot of attention to us. Like even for my school specifically, Mississippi Valley State, he actually came to our campus and brought he raised a lot of money for us to get new field, get new helmets, get new jerseys, get new new equipment for the field and everything. And that's why I appreciate him because we play them every year. We gonna play them every year, Jackson State. And even though he a rival, he came to our school 2 hours away just to bring likeness to Mississippi Valley State University and raise money for us. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not like where he at. It's who he is. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I appreciate.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
that's really good to hear. I almost never agree. Well, I couldn't say almost never agree. I don't always agree with Roland Martin. But one thing he pointed out was sometimes it's hard for us to get on the same page sometimes. But he had a really good opinion. Video where he was sharing his opinion on the whole situation. He was saying, how many people have left working for a black person and gone to work for a white person? How many people have, gone to an HBCU and not given back one dime to the college after they graduated in alumni dues? And he says, some of them are saying that they don't have as much money as a lot of their white peers who go to white colleges. He said, but sending $1, everybody can afford that.
Everybody got it out.
He says in some schools, fewer than 10% of the graduates are sending money back. And so if we really want to put our arms around HBCUs, we can't make it about one person.
One person.
And their contributions and then shame them. We can all do something. Do you agree with that?
I agree. I don't think they were trying to bash him, but no, he's not the only person with a high likeness. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people with high likeness and money that can always give back, but they don't do it because they look to, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people look at him to do it because he was there at the moment, but he left. All right, who's going to step up next?
Right.
There's a lot of people that can easily get back money. There's a lot of people with money who waste money. You know what I'm saying? It's even people who are black and give money back to PWIs can do the same thing for HBCUs. Not saying that you are, entitled to, but you know what I'm saying? You can't have an opinion on somebody who actually, helped if you didn't help.
So, do you have NFL dreams?
Yeah, of course.
So, when you go to the NFL and you make it, are you going to send money back to Mississippi Valley State University?
That's not the first place I'm sending money to. First, it's going to go to the vault, but
then next, make me cry.
Next is going to Mississippi Valley State University. Literally,
I absolutely love it. TJ, this has been one of my favorite times on this podcast having you on. Thank you for saying yes.
Thank you for having me.
Y'all don't know this because he's done so much work on his mental health and being able to show up. But TJ is actually in bereavement right now. He suffered a major loss just a couple of days ago. He lost his aunt, right? Mm-hmm. And he still wanted to show up. He still wanted to spread that infectious spirit and energy. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate you and we love you.
Appreciate you.
And, thank you for showing up the first day that we had an event. Like I said, that's going to be forever seared in my memory as just confirmation that we were doing the right thing.
Right thing.
Because somebody understood the vision. And we never even shared it with you. You just got it.
I felt like it was where I'm supposed to be at.
It was.
So let's just call it God.
Yeah. Our producer, Sarah Johnson, says you have to come back on the podcast next break. It won't be another break. It'll be after graduation. Sarah, get it right. All right, now, y'all, it is time for shout-outs. Let's start with you, Donnie. You have any shout-outs?
I'm going to shout out Tanya Aho.
Yeah.
I'm going to shout her out because I know the hard work she has done putting and investing in young people. And things that Tanya understands that other people don't is the meaning of that care package. Because it wouldn't even occur to me. I'll be honest, that's not how I'm made, And so it's the thoughtfulness of people like Tanya to understand that these caring gestures remind you that you are loved. And, I want to shout her out, and I want to shout you out, TJ, for just being such a magnificent young person.
Appreciate you. Don't tell her I don't eat candy, though.
I'm going to tell her. That's the first thing. I'm going to tell her. No, I'm not going to tell her. I think it's so cute that you don't want her to know that I couldn't break that.
Like, oh, she's going to really go, oh my God. TJ, do you have any shout-outs?
I'm gonna shout out the whole everybody who helped the Teen Advisory Council when we were young. I think I was like 15, 16 years old. No guidance, just a couple friends. You know what I'm saying? And we all was like, all right, you going to the vault? Yeah, I'll go. You going? All right, bet we all going. And we just went over the bridge. We was over there. So I'm gonna shout out everybody who was involved in the Teen Advisory Council. You know what I'm saying? Even from the kids who was in there, Paul, Stefan, the twin, everybody. You know what I'm saying? And y'all who actually mentored us and helped us, you know, even just being around. You know what I'm saying? That's sometimes that's all people need is like people to be around and know that they're gonna be around and not, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's really what it is. I'm gonna shout all y'all out though.
Thank you.
I want to shout out Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. Last Tuesday, the United States Senate passed Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's legislation to rename the United States Postal Service office on Grand River Avenue in Detroit after Rosa Parks, the mother of the Civil Rights Movement. Representative Tlaib introduced the bill earlier this year on what would have been Rosa Parks' 109th birthday. The bill will now head to President Joe Biden's desk to be signed into law. So just a couple of blocks from Rosa Parks Boulevard, that post office will be named for famed Detroiter, because she's ours, Rosa Parks. So shout out to you, Congresswoman Tlaib.
You know, we're going to miss her on the 13th. Really miss her.
But she'll still be in Detroit.
She will, but she was a great friend to ECN in so many ways, and I will always have her back and defend her because she has always had the back of the east side of Detroit and defended us and invested in us. So we really appreciate her.
All right, y'all. We thank you so much for listening. Until next time, we want you to catch the wave.